Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Urban Update. I'm Byron Barnett. On the show today, English for new Bostonians, creating opportunities for newly arrived to learn the English language. Also on the program, we'll talk some real estate as we welcome back Lamakia Realty with some tips for both buyers and sellers. Stay tuned for that. But up first, the number of people experiencing homelessness in Massachusetts continues to rise. A 2016 City of Boston homeless census revealed that nearly 3,500 individuals were recorded homeless in Boston just this past winter. Approximately half of those individuals were living in shelters, and even in those cases, a major problem is the lack of proper nutrition. And this is why Cambridge-based food rescue organization Food for Free has launched a new initiative with the Pine Street Inn, the largest resource for homeless men and women in New England, to bring fresh, healthy food directly from the field to the shelter. To tell us more about how Food for Free and Pine Street Inn are working together to provide better nutrition for the homeless, we've invited Sasha Purpura. She's Executive Director of Food for Free, and Pine Street Executive Chef Frank Van Overbeeke, known as Chef Frank, who creates healthy meals for sheltered guests. Welcome to Urban Update. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having me. Sasha, let me start with you. Talk to me about the concept for this new initiative, Field to Shelter. How did this come about for the Pine Street Inn and Food for Free?
Well, we've been working with the Pine Street Inn for 5 years now, bringing them primarily rescued food and purchased food. But we've had this field, we call it the Field of Greens, for 25 years. It's a quarter-acre in Lincoln, and we grow organic food on that, and we distribute it to the agencies that we serve. We really use it as a tool to engage volunteers, educate them on hunger and the local food system. So in our 5-year anniversary with the Pine Street Inn, we said, what can we do to sort of acknowledge this? And the idea came up that we could actually target the crops we were growing specifically for a single agency, that being this Pine Street Inn. So instead of just randomly growing food and distributing it out to the 120 agencies that we serve, we can really bring people in. They can have a very deep connection to who they're serving, and we could explicitly plant specific crops based on the menu that the Pine Street Inn was serving.
Okay. Frank, now you are tasked with creating 2,000 meals a day for shelter guests. What are some of the examples of some of the meals you whip up?
Well, we kind of cook anything and everything. You know, the old days of kind of the military-style food in a shelter are gone. We're trying to, you know, find creative items to serve the folks so that they actually have an enjoyable meal, while maintaining, you know, the budget that we're stuck with.
And with the produce that you get for Food for Free,
well,
how does that help out?
That really adds to what we're doing. We really don't have a budget to get fresh produce, fresh fruit, fresh vegetables. So we're usually using, you know, frozen or what we can glean from anyone else. So when Food for Free is bringing us fresh produce, we can incorporate that into the menu. And it's great because it changes throughout the summer as the types of produce are harvested, you know. So earlier in the summer we were getting lots and lots of tomatoes, which meant we were doing really great fresh vegetable salads, incorporating those tomatoes in. Now we're seeing more things like cabbage and kale. So winter squashes as well are coming in. So for instance, today we were taking winter squash, mixing it with a little bit of brown sugar and kind of doing that sort of sweet glazed Thanksgiving style, you know, as it was coming in. So it's great. We never know what exactly we're going to get. So it's a bit fun for us, too, to kind of whip something up when it comes in. But
wow. Well, what kind of reaction are you getting from your shelter guests?
It's great. The guests, like I said, they're used to getting, you know, whatever we can get at a decent price. So when we get fresh vegetables, it's immediately noticeable for them. They're looking at like all these fantastic sort of heirloom tomatoes suddenly on their plate that they wouldn't have seen otherwise, or you know, a stir fry of mixed vegetables, something along those lines. That's obviously freshly grown. Like we were cutting into watermelons today that you could smell through the whole kitchen. And, you know, that only happens with really, really fresh produce.
Okay. Now, Sasha, Food for Free volunteers planted seeds to grow specific produce requested by Pine Street Inn from your farm space, your very own farm space.
Yeah.
Now, are you going to be doing this for other organizations? In the future, any plans for that?
Well, so this is the first year, as I said, that we targeted it. We have a quarter-acre. Linden Tree Farm, an organic farm in Lincoln, donates the space to us every year for the last 25 years. And this is the first year that we have selected a single agency to receive the food. We haven't considered, do we now start to go to different agencies? Do we continue the partnership with the Pine Street Inn? One of the nice things about the Pine Street Inn is they do have such a great need. Frank's making 2,000 meals a day. It's a place that everyone's heard of. So for the volunteers to really understand where their food is going, they have the ability to go into Boston and see and tour the Pine Street Inn if they really want that full end-to-end connection. So for the next 25 years, who knows? Maybe we stick with them, maybe we move on to others.
Okay, Frank, talk to me about how the students at the Pine Street Inn's culinary training program have helped prepare these meals. You got a program over there, training program, huh?
Yeah, the program's great. So as I was saying, before we would receive food from Food for Free, we would have to use, say, frozen vegetables. And there's not a lot you could do with it. You put it in a pan, you steam it, you serve it. When we receive the fresh produce from Food for Free, it allows us to instruct our trainees on different techniques for how to slice the product, how to cook the product, how to be a little bit creative. We'll look at what we've got and we'll just say to the guys, what do you guys think we could do with this? What did your mom used to do with this? That kind of stuff. And and it allows us to explore techniques with them that they wouldn't have otherwise been exposed to.
Okay. Now, Sasha, last year Food for Free rescued more than 1.7 million pounds of food. Wow. Which translated into over 1.3 meals.
Million meals.
1.3 million meals, correct.
Big
yes.
meals.
Yeah, now we're getting close to the holiday season. How can individuals and families, help in this, help to reduce waste?
Yeah, 40% of the food that we grow doesn't get eaten, which is shocking and unbelievable when 1 in 9 people in Massachusetts struggle with food security. I think that there's a lot people can do individually to watch what they're purchasing, to take food and make something with your leftovers. My husband and I would have a fridge cleaning day where we just sort of make something of whatever is left. But at a more, at larger scale, I think that really putting pressure on the institutions, whether it's a supermarket that you shop at or a university in particular, and asking these agencies, what are you doing with your surplus food? Because there are organizations like Food for Free that will collect that food and take it to places like the Pine Street Inn. So if you have a child in school, or if you're in school yourself, go to your administration and say, what's happening? Because there is surplus food. When you're serving at scale, there is always surplus food, and this is good, healthy, tasty stuff.
Wow, food that needs to be rescued. Frank, talk to me about, the importance of good nutrition for this demographic that you're serving, homeless people.
Yeah, you're talking about a very at-risk group of people in the city. These are folks that are going to spend a great deal of the summer in difficult situations. A lot of these folks are homeless in the first place because they're suffering from health issues that may have contributed to how they ended up being homeless. And in the past, shelters would use bottom line as their decision maker as to what we're feeding folks. Whatever we could, the most food we could get for the least amount of money, so we could get as much food into these people as possible. And that's not really the right way to go about it. They need food that's actually nutritious. They don't need loads of carbs. They need vegetables, fresh fruit, whole grains, things like that. A lot of these folks are suffering from diabetes or those sorts of health issues, and we're not benefiting them if we just shove lots of food in their direction.
What kind of food were they eating before?
Well, you would kind of carb them up a bit. Like the idea is, let's just get a lot of food into them. So a lot of rice, a lot of mashed potatoes, and then whatever donated bread, for instance, that would come in. And a lot of the donated bread that's coming in is just very sugary white bread. And we would say, well, great, it's free. We'll feed it to the guys. They'll love it, and they do love it. But it's not good for them, and we're not helping them.
And can anything that the general public can do to help?
Well, those are things to take into consideration. We love cereal, and we love bread. And it sounds odd to ask, to be picky about how we ask for stuff from folks, but we'd like whole grain cereals without all the sugars in them, whole grain breads, that sort of thing, fresh fruit. If people have in their own mind a sort of a nutritional mentality when they're sending stuff to us, that would be great.
And Sasha, again, just you were a big food rescuer, so anyone out there with leftover food, you'd like to hear from them, correct?
Absolutely. And listening to Frank, I will say that we'll probably continue this partnership with them because the culinary training and really adding to that is a great benefit.
Okay, Sasha Purpura and Chef Frank, thank you both for coming in.
Thank you.
All right,
Great.
Congratulations on the program.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, well, when we come back, helping Boston's new immigrants learn English in an effort to start their way toward the American dream. All the information right here on Urban Update.